Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Girl, Why You Still Single? It's your host, Dion, and I am so excited to get into this next episode titled, Boy, Bye. So on this episode, I'm just going to be talking through one of my past relationships on why it did not work out and how God forced me to level up with entertaining new relationships in my life. So let's just jump right into it. I can remember this one particular relationship when I was with this certain guy, and it started out super exciting. I was head over heels. You know, all of the little giddy emotions with the butterflies in the stomach, falling asleep on the phone at night, and I quickly became fascinated by this guy. And honestly, I don't know why I was so fascinated by this guy, because God threw every red flag there was to me in order to get me to leave this man alone. But I overlooked every red flag, y'all. So let's just get into a couple of these red flags that God threw at me. One of the very first red flags that God immediately confronted me with was this man having several children and several different baby mamas. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying because, you have 5, 6, 7 kids that you don't deserve a healthy relationship. I'm just saying, for me being single with no children, I know that wasn't for my future. Can you all recall that Bible verse, Jeremiah 29:11, that states, "For I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Well, I know that being a stepmother to, 5 or more kids wasn't in my future. One of the next red flags that God presented to me in the beginning, this man didn't have a steady job. So he didn't have a 9 to 5 or 3 to 11 or a 10 to, or not even a 10 to 6. So he used to hustle on the side where he would have his own little side gigs to, get some money. I'm not knocking those guys who have their own businesses and they are really working hard to maintain a stable income. I'm talking about the guys who are side hustling and really don't have consistent income coming in to provide for their families. So in my mind, I'm thinking, you don't have a job, you're not stable, but you have multiple children, and you're saying that you want to be my man. How can you be my man and provide for me and the children with no job? Those are the type of questions that I should have been thinking in the beginning before I continued to allow this man to entertain me. Nope, I kept going. So another red flag, quickly angered. Who wants to be in a relationship where you always have to fight and fuss? Let me stop right here. No, this man didn't put his hands on me, because I know as soon as you listen to this episode, my sister gonna be calling me saying, "Girl, who put their hands on you?" I'm talking about verbal altercations. So these verbal altercations resulted in some of my insecurities. I had to fight against time with the children, time with the baby mamas, time with the side hustling, and being a single woman with no children, I found myself having a lot of time on my hands, which led me to always wanting to be with the guy who I said I was in a relationship with. So these 3 red flags were only the tip of the iceberg. There were so many more red flags that God threw at me. And I know y'all are probably thinking, "Girl, you should have been said, boy, bye." However, I continued to go deeper in this relationship. And the deeper I got, the harder it became for me to find any type of normalcy within this relationship. We shared a home together, and every time I went home, I felt like I was literally walking to hell on earth. This felt like one of the darkest times in my life. I felt the longer I waited to leave the relationship, the more God would show me just how much I didn't want that type of relationship. So those very same red flags started to turn into stop signs, red lights, and potholes. I could remember nights being thankful just to be alone so that I can gain some type of peace of mind. Y'all, I felt like this relationship was the relationship that was supposed to break me, and the devil really wanted my life. This relationship had me down so bad that I even experimented with drugs. And I'm not talking about, just the ordinary marijuana. I'm talking about something that could have gotten me so off focus. But God, going back to that Bible verse, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to give you hope in the future. God reminded me that he had a bigger purpose for my life, and this relationship was not going to stop me from getting to where he needed me to be. How many of you can reflect back on some of the outlets God gave you all to get out of some of the situations or the holes we have dug ourselves into? Just think about that for a second. So now that God has allowed me to escape this terrible relationship, I started anew in my new place. I broke up with this guy and I moved forward with my life. But the crazy part about it is I continue to attract the same type of guys. Guys with multiple kids, guys with no type of aspirations or goals, guys who really didn't value me as a woman. So y'all already know what I did. I start praying, y'all. I start asking God, why am I finding myself in these same dead-end relationships with these guys? So one morning I woke up and boom, I'm in my mid-30s, y'all. No relationship, no kids. I had wasted so much of my time on foolishness, and as my mind got clearer, I was forced to say, boy, bye. Enjoying the fastness of life, taking trips, shopping, clubbing, partying, enjoying all of the things that get old the older I got. And once I got into that transitional stage that I explained to you all on some of the previous episodes, God told me that you are who you attract. Now, that statement resonated with me. And I had to take a step back to really study my surroundings, because I'm thinking to myself, I am who I attract. And I start thinking about some of the relationships that I had been in. And I'm like, something ain't right here. I became so selfish with my time. I went on a boy bye spree. And at first, some of these guys, they lingered around. So I had to get straight to the point and make it real clear that I could no longer entertain any relationship that wasn't benefiting me. So no, we can't hang out. No, you can't come over and watch a movie. No, we can't cuddle, any of that. And as I think back, for so long, I allowed those relationships to distract me from my progression, from my career, from my purpose, and from my destiny. See, God had his way of removing all distractions from my life so that I could focus more on him and the important things in my life. Now, I have to admit, y'all, it wasn't just relationship with guys. Friends and family members began to drop like flies. God gave me a clear expectation on who I needed to allow a seat at my table. My circle began to grow, but only with those people it grew with people who pushed me to be better and encouraged me to do better. So one of my favorite songs is Mary J, No More Drama. And this one particular verse that I look at totally different now is, you better know your friends or else you will get burned. Just think about that. Like, some of us have friendships that don't necessarily encourage us to be better people in life. I have friends who I call accountability partners. We encourage each other to, be better women, to be better mothers, to be better Christians, to be better sisters. So who do you have in your circle who is going to hold you accountable for the things that you do or don't do? As I really started to reflect on some of the past relationships, I started to create a better mindset of what I believe a godly relationship looks like. So instead of focusing on, finding my next boo thing or husband, God told me that I should be more intentional about making sure that I'm able to be who I want that man to be in my life, or who I want that friend to be to me. So as I wrap this episode up, I want you all to think about this very question. Do the relationships I entertain benefit me? So until next time, let's be intentional about living in our singleness.